Thank you for joining me once again. My name is N. Michael, and today we are going to discuss about pornography and how pornography and pornographic material are affecting our children. And I'm going to discuss with you as a parent and how pornography affects your child. 5 ways on how pornography affects your child, and this one is going to give you reasons as a parent to sit down with your teenage son, to sit down with your teenage daughter and discuss seriously about pornography and pornographic material and how they negatively impact on the life of your teenage boy or your teenage girl. So watch this video up to the end so that you can know how pornography and pornographic material are negatively affecting our children. Five ways on how pornography or pornographic materials are affecting your child or your children. Point number 1. So the point number 1 is psychological impact. And here we are saying that porn create a psychological impact on children. Pornography is associated with depression. It is associated with anger, and it is associated with anxiety. And all these things, depression, anger, and anxiety, lead to mental distress. And greater impact on day-to-day functioning of children. That means even their school activity is going to be affected, their social life is going to be affected, the way they relate to you at home is going to be affected, the way they relate to other children in school is affected negatively, and even the way they relate to teachers is negatively affected. Because you are saying that pornography to young children, to teenagers, create depression, create anger issues, and create anxiety. And you are saying all these lead to mental distress and impact negatively on their social life, their biological clock, and how they relate with each other in whatever they are doing. So in school, you are going to find that the child is affected negatively because we are saying that the child is distressed or the child is depressed because of watching pornographic material. We are saying that the child has anxiety, is suffering from anxiety issues, and the child is depressed. So that is the first thing. Psychological impact. Pornography impact on your child psychologically, meaning that it is going to create depression in them, it is going to create anger issues in them, and it create anxiety. And we are saying that these bring the issue of mental distress and greatly impact on day-to-day functioning of the child. And I've said this clearly, that if your child is watching pornography, then the schoolwork is going to be affected, the social life is going to be affected, even the discipline of this child in school is going to be affected negatively. So you have to watch on that. So the first thing or the first issue that pornography creates to your child is about psychological impact, and this one is to do with depression, to do with anger issue, and to do with anxiety. So that is the first point. Let us look at the second point. Now, the second point on how pornography affects your child is what we call sexual addiction. Sexual addiction. Your child becomes sexually addicted. And you are saying that consumption of pornographic material produces similar effect on the brain as produced by the consumption of other drugs like alcohol, like cocaine, or any other drug. So we are saying that the consumption of pornographic materials produces similar effect on the brain of a child as produced by consumption of other drugs like alcohol. And pornographic consumption, we are saying that it is going to lead to sexual addiction. And this one, if your child become addicted to pornography, this one we are saying is going to lead to sexual addiction, And if the child is sexually addicted, then this one makes the child start looking for sexual partners, and this one can cause the issues of rape. It can cause the issue of what we are calling incest in family, whereby people who are related, children who are related, like cousins or brothers or sisters, start having sex because of that sexual addiction. And then when we are talking about sex, we are also thinking about teenage pregnancy, and we are also thinking about sexually transmitted infections. So we are saying that point number 2 is about sexual addiction, and we have said clearly that consumption of pornographic materials produces similar effect on the brain as produced by other drugs like alcohol, and this one exposes your children to various sexual behaviors. And you are saying that that is why nowadays we have a lot of incest. It is because children are becoming sexually addicted to pornography. That is why children are becoming sexually active very early, and this one is becoming a problem. That explains probably why we have increased teenage pregnancy, and that is why also the rate of HIV and AIDS and other sexually transmitted diseases are increasing. So sexual addiction is the second point, and this one is becoming a problem. So as a parent, you need to teach your children or your child about pornography to escape the trap of your child becoming sexually addicted. Now let us look at point number 3. And point number 3, we are talking about the behavior of your child. So what we call behavioral impact. And when we're talking about behavioral impact, we are saying that pornography may strengthen attitude that support sexual violence, or what you call gender-based violence, or violence against women. And this is the situation whereby children or teenagers start seeing women because of what they are watching on those pornographic platforms. They start seeing women or girls as sex object. So the picture and the respect, the regard for women is reduced. And remember, these are young people. So when they start developing low regard on women, and then they start viewing or seeing women as object for sex gratification, then that is a problem. Because you are saying that the behavior of this child toward women is going to change, and the child is going to be affected negatively. The respect, the esteem on which women are supposed to be held is reduced by watching pornography or pornographic materials. So that is what we are saying, that the child the pornographic material may strengthen the attitude that support sexual violence and violence against women. And the child, an innocent child or an innocent teenage boy, may turn up or may turn out to become a rapist because of what they have seen or what they see in these pornographic materials or pornographic videos. Now, the other thing on behavioral impact is that it also influences a young person's expectation about sex. It influences a young person's expectation about sex. The expectation of this child about sex is also distorted. The way they see the performance being done on those pornographic material influence their expectations about sex. And this explains why we are seeing so many young people, including teenagers, using what we are calling sex-enhancing drugs. Sex-enhancing drugs. And these are drugs that are destroying these children. These are drugs that have killed even so many people, even famous people that we know in Kenya and beyond. sex enhancing drugs. And you are saying the reason behind the use of sex enhancing drug, it is because of the impact created by watching of pornography, whereby the person's expectation or expectations about sex are distorted. The level of performance is distorted. So to make them feel like the men they watch on pornographic videos, then they tend to take what we are calling sex enhancing drugs. And this one is totally destroying our children. So behavioral change has a very big impact on our children. We are saying that pornography may strengthen attitudes that support sexual violence or rape. It also influences a young person's expectation about sex. That is point number 3. Let us go to point number 4. Pornography increases the likelihood of earlier sexual behavior. What do you mean by it increases the probability or the likelihood of young people engaging in sex or having what you call first sex encounter at a very tender age? And this is because pornography increases the curiosity for sex. It increases the curiosity for sex by a very big degree or by a very high degree. It increases the curiosity for sex, and this makes the young people start having what you call fantasies about sex. And they start having ideas about sex, and they start looking for boyfriends, and they start looking for girlfriends. And this one is also something that is even promoting homosexuality in our country because of these early fantasies. Maybe they have watched maybe some people acting a homosexual act. Maybe they have seen some people on pornographic sites being lesbians, and this we are saying that it increases curiosity for sex by a very high degree. And it also normalize sex. It makes sex look like something normal. It makes sex look like hobby. It makes sex just looks like any common behavior. It normalizes sex. It makes it look like just a game, just like something to play with, just like a hobby. So that is what we are talking about, increasing the likelihood of earlier sexual behavior. And this one is what is leading to early teenage pregnancy. And I've said it also leading to increase in STIs. And it also increases the rate of abortion. Because you have so many girls, not only in Kenya and in Africa, but globally. The abortion that are being carried out globally are in millions, not even thousands or 100,000s, are in millions. If you look at the country like China, you look at the country like United States of America, these are areas whereby we have very high abortion rates. And this one may be because of the pornography and the pornographic materials that these children are being exposed to. And we also seeing this idea becoming a reality in developing worlds or developing countries like Kenya, because now of the increased exposure to internet and internet connectivity, children are being exposed to sex materials online, and we are saying that this one is normalizing the sex. It is making sex to be a hobby. We are saying that it is increasing curiosity for sex. So the more the child watch pornography, the more the child become curious, and the more the child is likely to have an early sex experience. And this one is becoming a problem, a global crisis. And I'm saying that parents need to sit down with their children and educate them on the negative impact or implications of pornography and pornographic material. So let us move on to point number 5. Now, point number 5 is very common globally, and this one is it is known to be caused by pornography, and this is what we are calling masturbation. Pornography or continuous watch of pornography lead to what we call masturbation. And masturbation is a disease. It is one of the biggest problems that young people are experiencing nowadays. And this one is being caused by watching of pornography. So if as a parent you are there and you are keen and you want to protect your children from masturbating or developing the behavior of masturbation, then you must tell them and educate them about sex and educate them against pornography and pornographic material. Because now what is happening is that these children are watching pornography, maybe in high school, maybe in primary school, maybe it's a boys' school where there are no girls, and that one is what is causing what we are calling the homosexuality. These people are watching pornography and maybe they're in a girls' school. There are no boys there, so this one is going to cause what we are calling lesbians, so girls become lesbians. And also those who don't turn up to become lesbians, those who don't turn up to become homosexuals or gay men, then what we are having is what we are calling people who are masturbating. They are doing it on their own, so masturbation has really increased, and this one is becoming a problem. Because people who are masturbating, they are going to have problem with anger, they are going to have problem with depression, they are going to have problem with anxiety, they are going to have the feeling of guilt, they are going to have the feeling of being unworthy, they are going to have so many issues, and this one is impacting negatively on our children. And this may explain why we have so many children who have anger issues. We have children as young as 18 years who are killing their parents. In fact, in Kenya, we had an incident whereby a teenage boy killed his father when the father found him with a girl in his room. And when the father tried to stop the boy from having sex with that girl, the boy hacked the father to death. So that is the level that we are talking about, whereby children have become so much addicted. They have gone far, they have gone beyond, and this one is becoming a problem, and this one is becoming a crisis. In Kenya, it's becoming a crisis. In Africa, it's already a crisis. In America, it's already a crisis. In China, in Russia, and in many parts of the world. So I'm advising you as a parent, I'm advising you as a guardian to sit down with your children and talk to them and educate them about the negative impact or implications of pornography. So those are the 5 points. I'm going to stop there. Like this page, subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you and goodbye. God bless you.